I'm Eric Harley. We're at the Great American Trucking Show, and joining us from Chevron Delo right now is Jim Gambill. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great, Eric.
Hey, thanks for being here. It's always great talking to you and the folks at Chevron Delo. You're introducing something here, a new product at the Great American Trucking Show. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, thanks. I'm glad to be back, first of all.
Yeah.
Always good to be on your show. But yeah, we're introducing a brand new product line, actually.
Yeah.
But the top product, we're introducing the premium product, and it's a fuel economy product. It's a lighter viscosity. It's called Chevron Delo LE SAE 5W30, so it's a little bit lighter.
Okay.
Synthetic. It's a full synthetic product. The good news is for Class 8 trucks, the big trucks, it gets up to about 2% fuel economy gain.
Wow.
Whereas maybe another product, which right now a lot of people are beginning to consider 10W30,
right,
it gets about double that. That's about up to 1% fuel economy. So
yeah,
it's a great product. We think it's a little bit ahead of the curve.
Right.
It's a little bit of an aspirational product. People may want to step to 1030 first if they're on 1540,
right,
particularly if they have an older vehicle, and see how that goes. And we always recommend when you're using fuel economy products, check with your OEMs, make sure it works out before you make the switch.
Sure. And now, are you folks at Chevron seeing a greater demand these days? I mean, at $4 a gallon, I have to imagine you are for these more fuel-efficient products?
Yeah, we really are. I mean, there's a couple things you get with that. Number one is it helps keep you competitive.
Right.
Fuel economy is something most drivers know to the 100th what they did on the last run,
right,
and they know what their average is. So pennies matter. It goes right in their pocket, makes them competitive. So we know that, and we want to do our part. The second thing you do, which really you get just automatically, is it does help the environment too, because you actually, when you get better fuel economy, every gallon you saves CO2 going into the atmosphere. So it's actually good for the environment too. So we're happy on both fronts.
Yeah.
The big driver there is the financial driver, but in this case, it's actually very pro-environment at the same time.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of drivers who have that concern in their mind too. They're saying, look, we want to leave a better planet for our kids, and down the road, and this is the responsible thing to do. And by golly, when we're getting better fuel economy, that always is a plus. There's a new pending oil category, the PC11. It's also focusing on fuel economy. Talk more about that.
Yeah, I think it's PC11, proposed category 11.
Right.
Many people are familiar with API CJ4,
right,
CI4 before that. So that's what these eventually become. I don't know what this one will be called, but it's the next category of engine oil.
Yeah.
But along with this fuel economy trend that we're seeing, that's what this is designed to do. And what the category really focuses on is what people want is they want fuel economy, but what they're concerned about is durability.
Yeah.
Will it create reliability issues? Will my engine last as long? Because they don't want to necessarily trade it off. They really want both. And that's what this new category is designed to do, is provide the testing in place to give that assurance that these products not only will deliver fuel economy, but also provide the durability that people come to expect from our industry.
Yeah. And so who is the target for this new line here, Jim? Is it the owner-operator? Is it the fleets? Is it everybody?
It certainly can be everybody. I think the fleets will probably be the first to jump in. I think
right,
many owner-operators are saying, hey, I don't necessarily want to be the guinea pig.
Right.
And we've done a lot of testing, so I don't think people should feel that way. But I think most people do fleets.
Yeah.
The other people really are people running up north. We talked about some low temperatures right before we were on the air that people might be running it. It's a natural there because the OEMs already specify the lighter viscosity oils there. So very low temperature in the northern part of the U.S., Canada, Alaska, those customers will be very happy with this product. It has a minus 56 pour, which is very, very good. And then the interesting thing or exciting thing is it's our maximum fuel economy product as well.
When we're talking about investing in something that's going to help us out, it is an investment, so we look at the ROI, the return on that investment. So there is a little bit of a cost premium with synthetic products. What is that ROI? What are you looking at in terms of getting that back with that fuel efficiency? What should fleets expect? What should drivers expect?
That's a great question, and thank you. We actually, for that reason, have just announced, and we put on ChevronDelo.com, so www.chevrondelo.com.
Yeah.
We put on a fuel economy calculator that's free of obligation, free of charge, that you can actually go in, select your viscosity grade, and see what that payout is. Mm-hmm. But on the synthetics, they do cost more. But when you look at the 2% fuel savings, and when you work through that math, depending on how much around $4 diesel fuel, depending on what else you're doing, you can actually calculate it. And in general, you save about $9,000 a year with 2% fuel savings.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
That more than pays for the price of the oil. But you can go on and actually do these calculations yourself for your situation. Encourage you to do that. And actually work through your own calculations and make your own decision.
Right, and you mentioned, checking with your OEM on the specs and everything else. But this new product line live up to the API and the OEM specs here?
It really does. I mean, it has an impressive list of meeting OEM specifications and all the latest ones.
Right.
But because they're lighter viscosity, we really encourage you to work with your OEM just to be sure in your situation it makes sense. It's just a good check.
Sure.
When you move to lighter viscosities, because reliability, as important as fuel economy is, reliability is still more important. You got to show up for the load on time.
Yeah, and there's plenty of engines that are out there that are the older engines. So the next question has to be about being backwards compatible. Is this new line backwards compatible as well?
Yeah, it is. And what backward compatible means is just will it work?
Right.
And we think it will, but I think on older engines, even if you're out of warranty, we think it's worth a call to say, hey, here's what I'm considering. What many engines have is a low pressure oil light, and because this is lighter, more oil actually flows, but at a lower pressure.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that your engine doesn't perceive that you have an oil pressure problem. Something comes up, so that's something your OEM can help reassure you on before you make the switch.
Yeah. In terms of protection, there's a lot of people believe that lower viscosity oil doesn't really provide that same level of protection as, say, like a 15W40. What would you say to someone who believes that?
Well, I think the first thing you want to do is know what they're doing.
Yeah.
In some cases, that's correct.
Okay.
In very heavily loaded situations, running over the mountains, and if you're lugging the engine for whatever reason, it may not be right. That's another reason for checking with your OEM. But in most applications, that's not true. And we have good testing over the road and in short-haul trucks and utility trucks, things like that, where it works just fine. Another nice advantage of this product is it does work in gasoline trucks too, because we're seeing on vocational trucks, some of the smaller fleets, they can actually use this product in their gasoline engines as well as their diesel, and about a quarter of those vocational trucks are using gasoline and actually picking up a bit because of all the expensive air pollution equipment now being put on diesels. Yeah,
wow, it's great. It looks like you folks at Chevron have a whole family of these fuel-efficient products here. What other products are in this line here?
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, we really do. We're committed to this subject. And while right now we have the 5W30, which is at the top, the Chevron Delo LE 5W30.
Right.
We also have the Chevron Delo 400 10W30, which is really going to be the main product. That's our main recommendation for most customers who want fuel efficiency.
Right.
It gives you some fuel efficiency, and the OEMs really like it for their products. So it has a strong OEM endorsement at 10W30, and that's where a lot of people are going. The last one, of course, is something you and I talked about at MATS, which is in some cases people are moving to alternative fuels like natural gas.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so Delo 400 NG, the NG stands for natural gas.
Yeah.
15W40 is something we'd recommend for those applications for people or fleets who have decided to move to that product. So it's a different kind of fuel economy. It's not a miles per gallon necessarily, but it's a dollar saving fuel economy kind of move.
Yeah, and that trend is very interesting. A lot of people talking about that right now, and it's really brought up a lot of great conversation on our program about that and move toward natural gas. And I said, just wait for it. It looks like this will be the trend going forward. At a show like GATS, if I'm a driver and I walk up to the Chevron booth, what am I going to experience? What is the mission statement from Chevron? What are you trying to do with the driver here? What do you accomplish at a show like GATS?
Well, I think what we believe is that most drivers are looking for, they're looking for durability.
Yeah.
Reliability.
Yeah.
We think they want to talk about fuel economy. They really are picking up on that, and pennies matter.
Right.
So they really want to talk about that, and they want to talk about their engine and what's going on. I think that's what can happen. We've got the Delo truck there, and on the inside we've got some of our proof of performance for these things, including we've just added a new cutaway engine so we can actually we can talk about some of the points that you want to watch with lower viscosity oils and what kind of testing we've done.
Yeah, it's always terrific, and I invite you to, anytime you can, whether it's at GATS or any of the other shows, stop by and have those conversations. It really is the dialogue. I mean, I know you guys get a lot of great feedback from drivers, but that dialogue is really two-way. It's a two-way, street here. And drivers, I think, when they come to a show like this, it's great to walk around and get all the, the free stuff and all that. That's terrific. There's a value to that and the downtime. But when you stop and you have the conversation about what's going on under that hood, that's where you gain a wealth of knowledge.
It really is. And what's really going on with your particular situation, what your fuel economy is, where you're running, you can really talk to people and get some more input. We really trust the driver's decision as to what kind of oil, or the fleet manager's decision what kind of oil, but they need input, and it's good to listen and give them some additional data and let them make their choice.
Yeah.
Jim? And, you know, it never hurts either, Eric, that when you're there, you could also register to win a bass boat.
Oh, well, you know, I wasn't going to say anything because I was hoping I would win the bass boat, but that's okay. No, we want drivers to sign up for that bass boat. By the way, it's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful. I stopped at the other show there and looked at it and started to have dreams about me and Jimmy Houston out on the open water and, you know, catching some fish. And, well, we'll have to talk to the winner about that. But that's a great thing to do. Make sure you stop by and sign up for that too. The fun stuff is always, like I said, a very valuable part of shows like this. And thank you, Jim, for standing for sitting in with us and giving this information, because like I said, for the drivers who can't make a show like GATS, this is valuable, and we appreciate you being on with us. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here, Eric.